start of a new era for the Jurassic Park franchise. Just like the film before it, The Lost World Jurassic Park, this film takes place on Isla Sorna. We are introduced to the 12-year-old Eric Kirby and his stepfather, Ben Hildebrand. They're having fun near the island in parasailing when the boatmen happen to run into some fog. They go in alive, and once hidden in the fog, Ben and Eric feel something pulling at them. When the boat emerges from the fog below, it is quickly discovered that the boatmen are gone and there's blood on the boat. Ben and Kirby have no choice but to unhook themselves before the boat runs aground. And of course, they parasail straight onto Isla Sorna. People don't learn that this island pulls people into it to be eaten. Funny how the boatmen even said as much while they were having fun.
Make sure you get as close as you can. I want to get you close, my friend, but not too close, eh? You don't want to be eaten.
That is the last time we ever see this guy smiling. The scene cuts to a little boy named Charlie playing with dinosaurs. We see Alan Grant, who we think at first is his father, telling him the difference between carnivores and herbivores, and that carnivores are more likely to fight each other. Ellie Sattler comes out with a baby on hip, joking with him and telling him we should wait until Charlie's 5. This is awesome because it's the first time we're seeing these two since the first movie. They both have gone through a lot, and if you remember the first movie, Ellie really wanted Alan Grant to have kids with her. Alan Grant swore he would never have kids. Now here he is, looking really happy. Why would he be looking so happy out here playing with his son in a suit?
Hey, Mark. Hey, babe.
Good to see Alan stuck to his guns. That's why he looks so happy, because he doesn't have to deal with the babies. Alan and Ellie catch up. The husband is really a good sport, because he does not mind the man that Ellie really loved and wanted to have kids with, but only broke up with him, presumably because he didn't want to have kids, sitting there and having dinner with them, while he goes off to take care of the baby, leaving her to sit with Alan. That's some real trust right there. Well, you know, she had kids with me and I have money and I'm like the chief of international relations. I can make this chick disappear if I wanted to. Of course she's gonna stay with me. I ain't tripping. Who did I have kids with? No, but in all seriousness, Alan and Ellie have become friends. Although Ellie is clearly very much still in love with Alan. She asks him what he's working on. He says raptors, and he asks her if she remembers the sounds that they used to make.
Do you remember the sounds they made?
I try not to.
This poor woman had a traumatic past with these things. This is one of her last encounters Ellie had with the raptors.
Business.
Yes, this woman has been through a lot, so we don't blame her when she doesn't want to have anything to do with raptors anytime soon. Alan tells her that they were smart, smarter than dolphins, smarter than even possibly humans. Foreshadowing. As he is leaving, I can't help but remember the castaway scene at the end of the movie that was so heartbreaking.
I just want to say, if you ever need help with anything, sometimes you forget to ask. So you can call me. Anything, anytime.
Oh shit. Hidden messages? Anything? Anytime? Gotta be careful with your words there, cause now that I'm watching this many years later, I'm catching a whole other drift. I just thought, aw, it's so great that they're friends. But it's funny how a few years can really allow you to get a lot of experience, cause, you know.
You're still the best. I mean that.
Still the best what? Girl? I'm telling you, like, nobody believes me when you look at Ellie in this situation. Alan is the one that she actually wanted. He was the freaking Chad. And her husband is the safe dude that she decided to settle down with because she wanted kids and stability. Alan is the wild adventure seeker, the one that got away, the one that would not commit. I don't know, I'm seeing that with a whole fresh pair of eyes now. I don't even know if she talks to her husband like this. Alan says, the last of my breed or last of my kind. I also have a video on this, speculation as to why Ellie and Alan split up. I know a lot of people are not really interested in that, but I like psychology and understanding people's motivations and why they do the things they do. I really believe Alan probably would have been the person to stick to his guns and not have kids because he was really serious in saying that he did not want kids. But there's also another possibility. Check that video out. The way she looks at him, oh my god. I feel so, it's so freaking sad, man. Those two were meant for each other, and the way she looks at him is like, god damn it. Alan, I was hoping you'd take me up on my offer so I can get some sausage. Alan now gives talks to universities, and the students are all wondering why Alan would never go back to the islands, because now it's common knowledge that these islands exist with dinosaurs on them, and why Alan would never go back to actually study the dinosaurs, like in person. Alan tells the students that what John Hammond and InGen did were make theme park monsters. Those are not real dinosaurs, which is actually true because Dr. Henry Wu says the same thing in Jurassic World later on in the franchise. That's why Alan says he doesn't want to study them, but I think he also has PTSD. Why would he want to go back on the island risking getting killed again when he just met them face to face? And he's like, no, thank you. He then says there was no force on heaven and earth that would get me to go back on that island. Then we meet this cutie called Alessandro Nivola. Alan is sort of like his mentor. Alan goes back to the dig site, and this is where we found out that they made a 3D print of a raptor's resonating chamber, like how they made noise or whatnot. Billy, frickin' Billy, plays the sound, and it emulates the raptor noise.
Resonating chamber of a velociraptor.
What you think, Alan? Is it like everything you've ever wanted?
Shame. 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 Shame.
Wrong sound effect. Moving on. Alan is approached by a wealthy man named Mr. Kirby. Paul Kirby, to be exact. He offers him dinner with him and his wife. Billy comes along. They're offering a lot of money to fund Dr. Grant's research. They basically say that for their anniversary, they've chartered an airplane to fly over Isla Sorna, and they want him to be their guide. You know, he's very popular. A lot of people know him. He's the guy that went to Isla Nublar first, and he's a dinosaur man. So yeah, why not, right? Alan Grant doesn't really want to. Billy does, of course. Look how hungry Billy looks, like he's staring at some nice cherry blossom punani for the first time. After they say that they're gonna pay him very handsomely and write a lot of numbers on the check, Alan Grant's face is to die for.
What's it gonna take?
Here we have the rest of the group accompanying Paul and Amanda Kirby and Alan Grant, Udesky, Ash, and Cooper, the security guy.
So how do you know the Kirbys?
Through our church.
That's bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. That's a scam. Fuck the church. Here's 95 reasons why.
Alan!
How did Alan know for that raptor to look so different? Maybe it's because someone else has been televising these creatures. Or he saw the video somewhere, who knows? Well, great Scott, they've made it to the island. As they're flying over the island, they finally get to see some dinosaurs, and Alan is telling them about them. As much as he hated his experience in the first Jurassic Park movie, being in this island just has him feeling a whole bunch of sensations. But something weird is going on. As he is seeing all these dinosaurs and trying to tell Paul and Amanda Kirby about the different dinosaurs, being their guide, which is what they paid him to do, they keep saying that they don't see anything. Looking out all the windows. Alan is laughing because he's like, okay, the dinosaurs are right there. Listen, if you want to look over here, you can see these dinosaurs. And then they start talking about landing. Of course, Alan is not okay with this.
I mean, set it down. You can't land here. What are you talking about?
Hold on. I can explain if
You cannot land on this island.
Can you imagine these people paying you and saying, hey, we just want to fly around the island, and then having this survive dinosaurs? They're now telling you they're gonna land on the thing, and you're freaking out, and they're telling you to calm the hell down? I could see him metaphorically wetting his pants and ripping into them at the same time with a huge shard of shit. You can see Cooper in the background removing his glasses. What will you learn?
You please sit down.
Alan is knocked out unceremoniously, and when he wakes up, he sees Billy telling them that apparently Amanda and Paul Kirby are looking for someone on the island. Nash, Cooper, and Udesky are all geared up with weapons. Alan is very upset. While he is talking to Paul Kirby, he tells him, look, your wife screaming like that is not a good idea. He tells Amanda, who was the most annoying character in the whole movie, that she needs to stop screaming because it's a bad idea. She doesn't necessarily listen, and they soon see why.
Bad idea.
What's a bad idea?
What was that?
They get back in the plane, but Cooper is heard raining shots in the forest, but they have to leave without him. I don't know why. As they're rushing down the dirt runway, Cooper, who is hurt and doesn't have his weapon, comes out, because you know people in these franchises apparently don't know how to shoot, or apparently the Jurassic Park creatures or Autobots or Decepticons, and apparently bullets don't work with them. Cooper, who is a strong, capable man, is crying, hoping that they'll stop. Nash is scared because he tells Cooper in his mind that he can't stop the plane once it's at this speed. It doesn't matter because poor Cooper is finally caught up with something that grabs him. The plane clips whatever it is, and they crash. They're still high up in the tree, and all hell breaks loose. The gravity of the plane hanging from the tree forces it to separate, the front of it falling off, leaving the pilot, Nash, and Udesky exposed. This is a Spinosaurus aegypticus, the largest carnivorous dinosaur we've seen so far. The plane falls out of the tree, and everyone is rolled around as though they're in a ball, and a cat is the one playing with them. Poor Alan. He was so mad at the Kirbys, and when they tried to explain that they wanted someone who's been on the island, they're actually looking for their son. Alan then tells them, much to their chagrin, that, yeah, folks, I've never been on this island. Kirby had said, yeah, you have, you wrote that book. To which Billy replied that this is Isla Sorna, Site B. He was on Isla Nublar. Can you imagine Alan Grant is having such a horrible time? That's not just it. He's in a completely different place with new dangers. At least if he was on the original island, you can kind of understand because he's been there before. But this is completely different. Poor Alan. While the Spinosaurus is busy with the plane, they run out into the open, and it narrowly misses them. Alan is like, okay, we're good, and then sees a carcass. But they're not alone, because, something is eating it. It's a fully grown male T-Rex, or at least a young adult male T-Rex. They run away and lead it straight to the Spinosaurus. Is one of the most badass fights I've seen. Remember, around this time, we haven't really seen dinosaurs fight with each other or see them interact in the wild. Doesn't matter though, because this Spinosaurus is way more experienced and also stronger than this poor T-Rex, who gets his neck snapped immediately. The Spinosaurus roars victorious, and we get one of those pesky transitions as though the Spinosaurus is the one that just punched Paul Kirby. This is around the time that Paul Kirby tells him about the son and how they've called the Costa Rican government. They've tried to get everyone to help, but nobody would. Billy said it was very irresponsible of them to send their 12-year-old parasailing alone, but they correct him in saying that he's with a friend, Ben Hildebrand, the man that was parasailing with him. And that's when they drop another bombshell. Amanda Kirby says, yeah, Paul and I are actually divorced. Paul says that Udesky had said that you need someone who's been on the island. It would make things easier. Udesky then pipes in before he gets punched by Alan and says, look, I didn't tell you to kidnap someone, which is basically what they did, which I can understand from their perspective. They're both parents. That's their only child. Not like it would matter if there was another child, but you know, it makes it easier. Don't be mad. A lot of your parents would be okay if something happened to you knowing they had others. They're way more invested if they know they only have one child, which also makes it more insufferable to be their child. But anyway, this is where Alan also tells him that, yeah, I was never on this island. To which Billy also cuts in and tells Paul that that was Isla Nublar Alan was on. This is Isla Sorna, Site B.
That was Isla Nublar. This is Isla Sorna, Site B.
You mean there are two islands with dinosaurs?
All right, you stay out of...
Regardless, these people that they're looking for have been missing for 8 weeks. Alan now realizes this is survival at all costs. He's not really caring about looking for the kid. You can't blame him. He and Billy try to assess the threat, which is the Spinosaurus aegypticus, which is still out there. They don't remember that being on InGen's list, and Alan says it makes you wonder what else they were cooking up. Also recall that this is the island where they experiment on and breed the dinosaurs before shipping them to Isla Nublar. So this island probably has a lot more dinosaurs on it. After everything that's happened, Alan and Billy accost Paul Kirby and basically confront him, asking him a tricky question, because he said he did all these awesome things like climbing K2 and all this other stuff that rich people have done, but he knew no information. And when they asked him on the details, they discovered that he's actually a poor middle-class person who wouldn't even be able to pay them for this. Paul Kirby does offer them a kitchen or bathroom tile remake because the company he does own is a little company called Kirby Payne Tile Plus in Westgate. And the only reason I know that is because that's what the freaking phone, the satellite phone that they have. That's the ringer that they have. And Eric even sings it later on in the movie. Kirby Paint Tile Plus in Westgate. That's some good marketing right there if it's an actual company, you know? Later on, they find the video camera that Ben Hildebrand had with Eric. They see that they had actually landed in the trees with the parasail. Eric had dropped down and he was okay. The parents are hopeful because Eric is very resourceful and knew how to get out of situations when they tried to ground him. He thinking this is nothing like being grounded, but okay. They say they can use the parasail that's caught in the trees for help, kind of like an SOS beacon. As they grab it, a skeleton comes out. That is her boyfriend, Ben Hildebrand, who obviously, as we can see here, never made it out the tree. I think I also have a POV story on that. It's not really a POV, but it's my answer as to how Ben died. It was cool to see how a bunch of other people came up with their own theories after that, because it isn't explicitly stated in the movie. But I did do a type of POV sort of situation from Eric's point of view, what might have happened and how dangerous and horrible and awful it must have been for Ben. That video will be attached via the cards. They still fold up the parasail for safekeeping. Amanda, being beside herself, is worried about her son. She doesn't even care that Ben is dead. Just goes to show you fellas. She's all about her little boy. I remember watching this with my mom, and my mom thought it was so selfish of this woman because she told her husband or her ex-husband that she wasn't crying about Ben, she was crying about Eric because he's out there all alone. As she runs off and Paul catches her and says how sorry he is and tries to encourage her about Eric, they call over Alan Grant, who catches up to them. And when he sees where they are, they find a haunting discovery. They're in the middle of a raptor nest. Alan frantically goes back because he thinks something happened to Billy. Billy claims he was just getting a shot at the nest, but it's so clear that he took one of the eggs. The group finds an abandoned facility. After they've reached the abandoned facility where they're hoping they'll be able to make a phone call, they see the experimental labs where people made these dinosaurs, these monstrosities. Amanda Kirby comes across a very lifelike specimen. Like, it's so lifelike she can even see its face or its eye moving. That's because it is alive and almost takes her face off. She comes into so many situations with raptors in this movie, and you're wondering how is this dumb idiot still alive? The raptor chases them, and they shield themselves behind a gate. This raptor is so intelligent that he knows to climb over the gate to get to them. They push him aside, and he starts making a noise. This is the infamous call or cry for help from the rest of the pack. You see, the raptors are not only very intelligent, but they also have a social hierarchy, where the females are the matriarchs. She leads a whole group of males and females, probably her family members, and they are dependent on each other to survive and to neutralize threats.
He's calling for help.
They run out of the facility. The raptor follows and calls for the rest of the pack. As Dr. Grant and the others are running, they start a stampede. Billy loses his bag with the egg inside of it. This is where we see the raptors in full display running at top speed. Everyone goes into a tree except for Udesky. Poor Udesky is caught and impaled with one of the raptor claws. Aside from Eddie Carr, he's the only other character that did not deserve to die this way. Not like the others deserve to die in horrible ways, but they're like the sweetest characters that you feel especially bad for them. They're like the puppy dogs of the human world. It's just so unfair when they die. Throughout the movie, we can see the raptors conversing with each other. The raptors leave Udesky there, seemingly answering a call by the female. The others in the tree can hear Udesky moaning. I'm wondering, like, at this part, if the raptors can climb the gates, why can't they climb the trees? But oh well. Amanda's like, he's still alive. That's when she goes down to help him, and to her horror, realizes that the raptors have actually set a trap. We can also see the dimorphism here between male and female. The females not having feathery quills on the top of their head, being more beige or some whitish silverish type tan color with blotches on their backs and around their eyes, looking completely different in design than the males. But these raptors having slightly longer muzzles than the ones we've seen in the previous movies. The male on the other hand has long dorsal stripes, one on each side with red accents all over his body. Although he is darker in color overall, his accents and quills on his head make him stand out from his female counterpart, not to mention his red eyes. Their beautiful markings make them reminiscent of birds. Unlike the predecessor raptors, they also hold their arms more inward and to their side like a bird as well. Understandably, Billy is amazed and astounded that they set a trap. Alan is separated from the group. The raptors trick him, and since they have no use for Udesky anymore, the male that is left with him snaps his neck, seemingly understanding that he is distressing the humans in the tree as they're watching. The other raptors surround Alan. He really thinks he's gonna die, until a smoke bomb is put in the middle of the situation, and someone grabs Alan and runs. He discovers that the person who saved him is is Eric, Paul and Amanda Kirby's son, who seems to be doing well for himself, because of course he is. Why wouldn't he? He's a child in the franchise, who also survived catching T-Rex P to do God knows what with it, and also to keep away other dinosaurs, except for the Spinosaurus who it attracts. Alan says his parents are looking for him and they're here with him on the island, which this kid seems to think is the worst thing possible because they don't get along with each other. As the compies come out in the evening to eat bugs, Alan encourages him, saying that you'd be amazed what people can do when they really have to. Alan and Eric spot a boat nearby. While they're heading for the boat, they hear a jingle. Eric recognizes it as his dad's satellite phone.
That's my dad's satellite phone.
And how do you know?
Kirby, Payton, Tile Plus, Westgate.
He was very off-key, but see, I was right. He is reunited with his parents. Well, sort of. Billy is happy to see Alan, as Eric is hugging his parents in joy. All Billy cares about is that Alan has his bag that he dropped. The one that we know for certain he has an egg in, because he is making it so freaking obvious. This is where I can't stand Billy. They try to find a way over. Paul and Amanda wonder how Eric was able to find them. He said he heard their jingle from the phone. Paul said he didn't have it. Nash had it but before they could finish, they hear the jingle again.
He must have had it when he...
They run for their lives and make it through a hole in the gate. I don't know why they utilize this time to sit there and hug each other. It's like the worst time possible. See, this is the reason. This is the reason why people like this die in these movies. It's like those people that are getting chased by a shark and they go to shore or find an edge to get out and their legs are still in the water, or they're sitting right by the edge where they just saw the shark chomp somebody off of moments ago. It's really interesting because for a franchise that prides itself on life finding a way, I don't know how is it that these organisms aren't lost, dead, and gone already. Billy makes it freaking obvious that he wants his bag back because there's something in it. He claims it's not safe. Alan is like, you know what? No, let me open up this bag and see what's in it. Are you freaking nuts? He didn't just steal one raptor egg, he stole two. That's why the raptors have been after them. The raptors were minding their own business, and you land in their nest and then steal their eggs? The raptors probably knew the humans stole the eggs because they're humans, first of all. Don't trust them. Second of all, they left their footprints and their presence there. The raptors probably already knew that the humans were in the area, but didn't do anything until the humans decided to take what wasn't theirs. Paul says they should get rid of the eggs. What if they catch the humans, them, with the eggs? To which Alan responds, what if they catch us without them? Billy is left standing there feeling ashamed after Alan basically tells him that he's no better than the people who built this place. And Alan, his mentor, telling him that crushes his soul. The group finds themselves in a weird area. Alan notices that there's feces around, but in the weirdest places. Then he tells him that this is bad because this is a bird cage. Right around the same time, Eric feels something land on the bridge in front of him, but he can't see because of all the fog. Out of the shadows comes a pteranodon. It grabs Eric and drops it into the nest with its babies. Billy, wanting to redeem himself, takes a parasail and goes to find Eric. I'm gonna make you love me again, Alan, you'll see. Eric runs from the babies who are doing a bad job of pecking him to death. Billy tells Eric to grab on. As a last-ditch effort, Eric takes a risk and jumps onto Billy. These pteranodons are not as harmless as everyone thought they were. They start attacking Eric and Billy and rip through the parasail. Everyone else falls into the water, while Billy gets hung up on the cliff after he saved Eric. Eric wants to help Billy. Billy unclips himself and unfortunately is pecked to death, telling the others to get away. I kind of feel bad for Billy because I guess he was just trying to do what he thought was always a dream, even though he saw many people before him do it and fail. I don't know what he was thinking. I guess, well, he claimed he was trying to sell the eggs so that they could have money to fund the dig site for another few years. Especially considering that they're not getting any money from Paul and Amanda for anything. It's freaking terrifying. Straight out of Darby. Everyone swims under the cage. You think the birds can't get out. You think the pteranodons can't get out because apparently they can't swim. But the gate that Amanda came out of is left open. Why do people not lock doors in these movies when things can chase you? They finally make it to the boat. I don't understand why these creatures are locked in here because it's clear from what we saw in the beginning of the movie that probably one of these creatures are responsible for having killed those men on the boat. Meanwhile, Amanda looks like she's falling in love with Paul all over again. Of course she is. Her F-boy is dead. This is where we see curious brachiosaurs and dinosaurs are now in Technicolor. It also seems, just from seeing this, that there is also dimorphism between males and females here. Obviously, the older dinosaurs would have the more prominent crests, and this one that has the red crest is a male, while the others around him that don't have the red accents are female. Dr. Grant feels really bad about what happened to Billy. He says that Billy just wanted to dream. He didn't actually mean to hurt anyone. Aside from all that, though, I can't get over the male and female thing, because actually when making this video, this is the first time I noticed that. I thought they all had red crests. I'm like, no. The red one has to be the guy, and the one on the left has to be his bitch. I mean, it's so beautiful just watching this over. Oh, love it. Look at their necks, how it looks like snakes and ladders. Just the coloration going on there. It's freaking awesome. Beautiful. I really love how they remade the dinosaurs in this movie to be very colorful and realistic. They're not just boring and all the same brown color. While they're on the boat going down the river, they hear the noise of the phone. Remember, that phone, the satellite phone, was inside of the Spinosaurus aegyptigus. So they were worried that the dinosaur actually caught up with them, but they see a big mound of poopies. They dive through it to see if they can find it. They found it. Ew. This is the first time ever we've ever seen a Ceratosaurus, who doesn't see them as food because, well, they're covered in shit. Y'all smell nasty. Damn. You gotta imagine how disgusting this poo smells, being that it's a carnivorous creature's poo. Ugh. Having the satellite phone, Alan Grant calls the one person he knows he can depend on, Ellie. Her son picks up. He tells the son to bring the phone to Mummy, and the kid gets distracted, but eventually he gives Ellie the phone.
I'm the dinosaur man.
Yes.
Alan?
See how excited she is to hear Alan? That man told this woman to drop her panties. Married, kids or not, she'd be like, yes. Now that I have children, like, it's okay now. Please be with me. She loses the connection and calls him back. Unfortunately for Alan, right as he is making this call, the Spinosaurus has attacked them. Spinosaurus can't stay under the water for long periods of time. It's also aquatic. So not only they're in the middle of the storm, but they're also fighting this thing. They lock themselves in the cage on the boat, trying to not lose the satellite phone while they're at it. The cage is pushed into the river by the Spinosaurus. Ellie says she can't hear Alan. Right before he goes under the water, he tells her that they're at the river. Site B, the river, Site B. Ellie knows something is wrong and she must save Alan. Oh no, Alan, no! I'm sorry. I love Ellie. The Spinosaurus has like a vendetta against these people for some reason because he's just after them. I guess he really doesn't like humans. I also have a Spinosaurus POV if you guys are interested. I know a lot of you are asking for those POVs, but you'd be surprised of how many of them you've actually missed and you weren't aware are on the channel. After some oil spills, they light a flare and burn the Spinosaurus. It runs off and they're all okay. I'm so fucking you tonight. We're getting remarried. Oh God. As they run off, the adventure's almost over. The ordeal is almost over. They're right by the shore. All they have to do is wait for their rescuers.
The ocean.
Where are you going, bitch? The raptors are like, you're not going anywhere without our freaking offspring. You thought we forgot. Who you think you are? And I swear to you, I have never thought a raptor was sexy until I saw this female walk up to them. Just look at the way she walks, yo. Giving me some total Dren from Splice vibes. Yeah, you thought you could take my children? Who do you think you are, girl? She's like, you think you're prettier than me or some shit? You think you're prettier than me, but you want to steal my eggs that you didn't bear? Bitch, who are you talking to?
Get behind me.
Boy, get your bitch ass back in line. After doing some fearsome necking, the female raptor is like, you stole my eggs. It also didn't escape me that this one female has all 4 males around her. I don't know if they're her boys. I don't know what's going on here. Is she like a queen white spike? Why are there only males around her? Probably because she doesn't want any other females around her. Probably they're just watching their eggs, and these are her personal soldiers that went out to escort her to find her eggs. Give me my baby. Right as all this is happening, and they're taking out the eggs, Alan also sees that little 3D printed raptor thing. We don't know what the raptors are going to do to them after they give the eggs. But it's okay, Alan has a plan. He starts playing the raptor noise. The raptors don't seem to like what he has to say. Then Paul tells him to call for help. And this part is so interesting. I recognized this the first time I saw the movie. As they are calling for help, the males are telling their female, look, let's just bust a cap up, let's smoke these bitches. And she actually tells them to wait. She actually tells them, no, stop. I want to actually see if help comes. Then she hears a helicopter and she's like, I guess they do have help coming, which tells me that there are other tribes of raptors out there. And raptors, like humans, they don't want to be involved in a war if they don't have to be. If they know that they can get away with offing someone who crossed them, they're like, yeah, of course I'll do that. But if they know they're going to catch some heat for it, they would rather not. If they can make up their mind to part peacefully and amicably when everyone gets what they want, there's really no need to attack them. Had the helicopter not mysteriously and magically come at that time, the raptors probably would have taught the humans a lesson. She tells the males to leave the humans alone and just pick up the eggs. When the raptor gently picks up her egg, this is the gentlest and closest we've ever seen them. Watching them walk off with their egg, because that's all they ever wanted, was so cute and endearing. The last male picks up the egg and they get out of there. And he looks at them like, all right, we're good. Some random guy is on the ocean. You see him, right? You see that there's nothing behind him.
Bad idea.
Did they not hear all of them before? Did they just teleport to the, or did they spawn? Are these Battlefield players respawning into the area on the map? What the frick is this? I never understood that part.
You have to thank her now. She sent the Navy and Marines.
God bless you, Ellie.
That's not what Ellie wants to hear, Alan. Ellie wants to see you tonight in person so you can thank her properly while her husband watches. And to make things even happier, there we see Billy. He actually made it. How they rescued him, I don't know. Maybe he washed down river into the ocean. He's so happy to see Alan, and Alan's happy to see him. And he says he rescued Alan's hat.
I get you to sit here and buckle up, sir.
Walking away from me, bitch. I won't forget what you said to me. I won't forget, Alan. Like, seriously, why did you have that look at the end? I never understand. To this day, every time I watch this movie, I'm like, why is he looking at Alan like that? One minute, Billy is like laughing, and then the next minute, he looks like he's freaking plotting your death. As they're all leaving, they see pteranodons flying, and they're like, oh, this is totally normal. Oh, I guess they're going wherever, find new nesting grounds. Nothing wrong with that, right? Not like these creatures can fly very far and make it to the mainland. Then the movie ends. I really loved Jurassic Park 3. It was corny, and it had comedy, but I think that it was very well placed. I still think that danger felt like danger when we saw danger. A lot of movies don't do that very well with a comedic element. There were times when the guys were really in trouble, like Alan was spitting out in that plane, and I was laughing my guts out because it was hilarious watching him scream, understanding that he was reliving his worst nightmare against his will. That was hilarious. However, you still felt like he was in danger. It is one of my favorite Jurassic Park movies. And after Lost World, which it's really, really close to, I think I would say Jurassic Park 3 is one of my favorites because you also get to see the raptors in their natural habitat being intelligent, but still also being fearsome creatures. We see them later being intelligent, but all the scariness is taken away, which is like, look, I love Blue, but I'd also like to see her be a badass. Wonderful movie. I still think it holds up. And then right after this, we have Jurassic World, which is cute, but then for some reason, you never see blood again. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer. Pop your arm off and there's never any blood ever again. I'm kidding. I'm gonna go now.